My name is Benjamin Crowley, and this is my spoken word poem about stereotypes and the history of stereotypes and the history of social interactions with Black people in America in regards to my own personal experience in America for these past 30 years as a biracial transgender gay man. I do have to put the disclaimer out there that I have a speech impediment, and in the interest of not having to try to film this another 40 times, I'm just going to do the best that I can. So I may stumble at some point during this reading. So without further ado, I would like to read you my unentitled poem about stereotypes. In 2018, in the great white state of Maine, I spoke my truth to a room of white liberals. In the hallowed halls of education, to which I had fought for entry, to which I have endured the lash of frequent microaggressions in a school that prides itself on diversity and inclusion, but profits off the gratuity of the lands it stole. Years ahead of other like minded institutions of its ability to give acknowledgement, because giving credit is far easier than relinquishing the land that you stole. In these hallowed halls of education, the invisible specters of race box in the percentage of an institution that is PWI, a primarily white institution. It's the kind way of saying that the history here at first glance is sanitized. But now daily interactions with people who oppose civil rights movements, but have never known more than 3 people from the groups of whom the civil discourse is about. This is the stage of metered progressivity. A metered progress that students can fight for 4 years and still only scratch the surface of civil inequities on campus. Our metered progressivity protects groups with hate speech-filled ideologies and allows them free speech on campus, to operate on campus, to be a civic hate group on campus, but project and protect your free speech on a beach ball on the mall, white students only. This is the climate of this liberal bastion. But hey, it's a great school if you're gay. In front of a room of white strangers, I, the only performer of color and the only man, spoke about power and privilege to hippie white college moms and grandmothers. To me, a poetry slam isn't about winning, but to these girls, to relive their trauma and open recently healed wounds was worth a $25 gift card to Amazon. My piece is about the fractured nature of this melting pot nation, and their pieces about abortion and rape and loneliness, the things that people born with a vagina and white privilege experience in ways that I can't understand and can't change. Things that will never be allowed to be experienced for me in the same way. No trigger warnings here. My rage didn't peak until one of the judges spoke to me, all smiles. She said, "Your poem rhymes so well, it flows like rap." It's just a compliment, you see. A compliment, Crowley. Why are you so angry? Why don't you just play basketball for a scholarship? They'd let you in. Why do you dress like that? It doesn't help you fit in. Why are you getting mad? This has nothing to do with the color of your skin. Like a hammer to a chisel, they ease their way in. Make cracks in my armor, make digs about my skin. 10 years ago, yesterday, they all seem to stay. They've forgotten, but the words live on in me in replay. I'm all for peaceful protest, but riots go too far. I'm not racist, but when a black man approaches, I lock the door to my car. Why did he kneel during the Pledge of Allegiance? Why do you have to play the race card? I don't see color, but how can you demand civil obedience, still cage the sick and the weary, dismiss converse theories, and elect puppets to lead blind masses with presidential candidates less appealing than jackasses? Getting toxic vibes for the shade of my skin. Well, you black folk. Let me stop you before you begin. We black folk never had a chance. Subjected to slavery and toxicity you'll never understand. Hard work is hard work, but there's no fair play. We're still the scapegoat when things go astray. Still dying on concrete. On concrete, we still sleep. By day, We walk on eggshells. Each night mothers lose babies and weep. But, riots and looting, they don't bring peace. But if peace only comes at the cost of a segregated nation, and liberty and justice only apply to this quotation, white, Anglo-Saxon, male, then this system was doomed from the start to fail. Shame is this libertarian dream that stifles the oppressive screams under a blanket of equality and drowns us out and begs us not to be salty. Forgets the armed conflict that robbed peaceful nations. The country that has put children in cages on more than one occasion and can argue its way out of any ego deflation and know all of this is true and still sue for defamation, still keep the light-skinned folks of the Aryan nation above the rising tide, while simultaneously perpetuating the image that the color of my skin is precisely the reason I deserve to be the position that I'm in. While dividing us up by skin tones, we may live in the same neighborhood, but we don't live with each other. I know now, when I revisit that night, back in those hallowed halls of education, in which I fought for justice, in which I screamed for the rights of others who couldn't be bothered to scream for me, in which I was told there was no funding, no space for someone like me, and yet every year I found some. Back to those hallowed halls in the great vacation land to which there is no vacation from subtle racism, it dawned on me. They don't see a poet seeking social justice and gratification. Within this divided nation, they see the child of a Mammy, a Sapphire, a Jezebel. An assumption of my race. They think they know me so well. And I defy that expectation. When I am not the presentation, not the reflection of their poorly managed projections, I am a defect. An infection in their system. I won't paint myself darker to entertain them. My armor is renewed. They can call me brother. I will not cave in. But I will no longer let their words do me in. Thank you.